Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Conversations with Anasa. So happy to see you. Okay, let's start with guided meditation. Relatively guided. You guys don't really need it, but so let's take our attention inside, down below the belly button. In these times, we need to keep our attention very grounded. And when we're centered with our attention below our belly button, and allow all your energy to drain out of your head, away from between your ears, and down into the energy center below the belly button. And it's not far below, it's 2 finger breadths, the width of your finger twice, just below the belly button. So it's not way down low, it's just there. And feel into that energy center. In Japan, it's called the Hora, Hora. And in Chinese medicine, it's the lower dantian, which is the cauldron where we store our energetic fire. Yes, so that concept helps. We are draining all the energy out of our brain like there's a funnel, pulling it down to this energy center, and suddenly you can feel your feet touching the earth and your head touching the sky. And sit up straight so you can access the central channel with ease. And notice how you hold your attention in the energy center below your belly button. It immediately grounds you. And for athletes, having your attention here is being in the zone. It means that you are ready to respond to whatever external life brings to you. But when we look here internally, this is also the access point for us to access our spiritual body from low down. Our awareness, instead of bouncing around between our ears, comes down to our grounding core. And now take your breath into this center and feel for the stillness in between the breaths. And you might let your arms slip to your sides and your hands drain out anything that doesn't serve, anything that you've collected over the last week that needs to be released. You can just let go now. Kind of shake your hands, bounce your feet, let it drop out of your system, knowing that any darkness that flows out of us feeds the lower beings. The multiverse utilizes all energy for the highest best. So our job in this connection of flow in the multiverse is to participate more and more in the dynamic flow of the highest best for the whole. And as we do that, our rightful place in the multiverse asserts itself, and we are cultivating our spiritual knowing that allows us to participate in the way that harmonizes with the highest best for the whole. And in aligning with that flow, we find peace and ease within ourselves because we're not fighting with our nature or struggling with the events outside of us to try to make them different than what they are. We begin to establish a harmony within ourselves and the whole that allows us to participate creatively without always being, or let's say, with less often being in reactive states that cause us to be in disharmony. So, holding our attention in the stillness, in the space between the breaths, we allow our beingness to harmonize with the whole. Dropping out of our hands and feet any energy which doesn't serve. And now gently allow your attention to drop down through the tip of your tailbone into the center of the earth, grounding ourselves in the here and now, mastering the 3 times past, present, and future by finding that balance point of the present. And as you feel your spiritual body coming online, gently allow your attention to move up to the solar plexus. And here lies the source, the held trauma energy from our past and the shocks and injuries that we've received in this life, in this body. And again, we can allow these to drain out our hands and feet. And we ask to be relieved throughout time and space of these injuries as we allow them to release within ourselves. So at this point, we begin opening the crown chakra and pulling in white light, running it through our system to release any old tension patterns. At the moment, we're focused on releasing anything in the solar plexus, but whatever else gets washed out is totally fine. So we're letting go of any negative tension that is held throughout time and space in our being, asking to be freed of that. feeling that shower of white light coming over us and through us and washing out anything that no longer serves. As we hold our attention in the solar plexus, releasing anything that we have yet to address, inviting us to tell us whatever we need to know to serve those energy patterns. And whatever we don't need to know, we are grateful and release into the ether. As the heaviness drains out of that center, allow the gratitude to rise up into our heart center. And whatever pace that happens for you, no problem. Take your time. Allowing the heart center to come online. And today we're going to introduce a new energy center, the high heart, which is located in the thymus, which is just slightly below, about 2 finger breadths again, below the notch of the sternum. If you feel below your throat, there is a notch in the bone called the sternum, which is the breastbone. And if you feel 2 finger breadths below that, in that energy center, that's the thymus, which is the seat of our immune system when we are babies, when we're infants. And it is an energetic location we call the high heart. And it functions as the junction point between the heart and the third eye. And it harmonizes the heart and the third eye. So we're going to hold our attention. It's the center. It's one of the centers of our immune system. Hold your attention there, gently allowing any negative accumulation to be washed out with the white light. Breathe into that space and feel for the stillness between the breaths. And you may naturally notice that your shoulders open, that they naturally want to be held in a different way to feel this energy center open. So we're going to work for a bit in this high heart to feel for the energy center there, because it's necessary in this time more than any other we've ever faced that we harmonize our third eye with our heart center so that our ability to articulate through the throat center is enhanced and we can speak the truth, because there is no time like the present to be speaking truth. So holding our attention in this high heart center, we ask to be cleared as we run the white energy, the white light through this center. Understanding that by being present for this call in this energetic field, we are all contained in an Anasa temple. We want you all to know that our house has a gate in front of it with a big slab of wood that has an engraved picture of an Anasa temple in the front of our courtyard. To enter our house is to enter our property, is to enter an Anasa temple. The same is true of the electronic space created for this call. You may notice your heart center and third eye beginning to harmonize as you hold your attention in the high heart. And now bringing your attention to your throat center. And gently feel into the back of your throat center. And you may feel a clamping down in your neck behind this center. See if that can be released with the white light. Again, feeling for the gratitude as we are gifted with the opening of these energy centers. Gently allow your attention to shift to the third eye. Remembering that that energy center is found just above the place in the center of the roof of your mouth, where the hard palate, the bone ends, and the softness begins. You can feel with your tongue back to that space. And just above that, behind and between the eyebrows, so it's much more in the center of the head than we think. Feel for the third eye. Again, holding your spine as openly as possible. And then the energy will naturally rise out the top of your head. Feeling the energetic space through the layers of the sheaths of the layers of energetic field surrounding our body. Inside the ethereal container that holds each of us as individual energetic fields. This is a semi-permeable. We emphasize the word permeable over the semi because we are quite permeable. As we all know from our empathic natures. And as we access the flow of our own energy field in union with the highest source energy that is beyond words, why we are stumbling. We'll be quiet now and allow you to hold this experience beyond 3 dimensions. We'll just say the word infinity. Now holding to this experience, not grabbing, just allowing your attention to be in two places at once. Gently open your eyes while holding your attention inside. We're delighted to be with you this morning. Mm. Mm. So the world is a fast and furious chaos. And as we look out, it's a very beautiful day in Portland. We're delighted to be with you. How is everybody? Any questions about that meditation? It was slightly different from what we've done before. One of the reasons we are introducing the high heart, of course, the major reason is to harmonize between the heart and the third eye. There's an infinity symbol of the energy between those two energy centers, and it meets in the high heart, between the heart and the third eye. One of the reasons we want you to pay attention here is because it is an important health center, an important healing center within our bodies. And you may notice that as it opens, so do your shoulders. And if you've ever seen anatomically correct pictures of a human body, the hands are always open, facing outward. And all of us tend to have our position of ease with our shoulders facing inward, internal rotation. And we rarely do this opening of the chest with our shoulders and having our hands facing forward, palms open at our sides. That's not our natural position because we guard against the world. We internally rotate. We don't want the information. And yet, as beings that are living in both worlds at the same time, having our awareness both internally and externally rotated in the same moment, because of where we hold our attention low in our body, except when we're actually meditating, we hold our attention low. We still have access to all the energy centers. Nothing closes down. We just have a choice about where we hold our attention, because when we keep our attention between our ears, we are naturally going to be reactive. When we hold our attention below our belly button, we are naturally going to be physically prepared for action, but mentally open so that we can freely see and observe what's going on around us. And these distinctions become very important as the world is getting more and more insane outside of us, because we can avoid being caught up in the insanity. Because at the same time, it's still important to keep, our toe of cultural awareness and sensitivity in the water, because we need to be able to support those around us who are inundated with that energy and information. And by our very presence, we can demonstrate that something else is possible. And that gives us the potential to inspire those around us to learn same. With our attention below our belly button, we remain able to respond coherently. And we discover that what comes out of us from that place is completely trustworthy, because it's not colored by personal desire so much as what happens between our ears. We are directly relating from the gut brain, the enteric reality that we know hardly anything about. And we discover, almost by accident, a level of peace that we maybe haven't been able to hold before, because we just happened through it, but we didn't stay there. And staying there makes it accessible. It becomes a choice to be at peace. You look at every statue of the Buddha, and where is the energy? It's in the big belly. It's in the big belly. We become Buddhas. Sitting in peace with just a very gentle beginning of a smile. That's peace. There's no pretense in it. We're not pretending to be joyful. We're just in peace. Yes. Thank you. How may we serve this morning? Hmm. Good morning.
There, I found it. Oh man, it's just been kind of a wild moon time for me.
Hmm.
Um, my stepmother's memorial service, we were able to watch it online from Colorado, which is just beautiful. Um, Wonderful images of her as a little girl and a young woman that I had never seen. It's just beautiful images. And the window of the church was looking out at the mountains, those snow-capped mountains.
How beautiful.
And it was just interesting because this gray image went by outside through the windows. I don't know if anyone else saw, but it was this tumbleweed that just was blowing through.
Oh, how beautiful.
Oh,
Yes.
it was so subtle.
What a
I,
metaphor.
I think so. And as we speak, a childhood friend of my sister's, we all went to school together. My sister's 3 years younger than me. She's actually dying right now in Eugene, and she
Hi.
she just her heart was giving out on her, and she's been struggling, and so I made a call in a while back. I've never met her daughter, but I guess she's going to call me back so I can. I don't know if Lynn is conscious right now, but so I can give her some loving words.
She's in Eugene.
Yeah. Hmm.
How old is she?
She would be 69.
And what's her relationship to you?
She is one of my sister's best friends,
Oh,
same age.
see.
We all went to school together, and
Oh,
yeah,
so this is a close bond.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, so it's just an interesting and another kind of thing that's slightly been kind of stirring me up is I have my ex-husband coming into town, which I haven't seen in 3 years. And I realized uh, I had um, endured some trauma with him as a young girl when I was married to him in my 20s.
Mm.
And we've never talked about it. And as I've been doing my counseling, I'm going, stuff was coming up maybe a year ago. And it's like, well, gosh, when I see him again, I will have to talk into it. Um,
This is very interesting because Venus has been retrograde, going back over the past
oh, really?
in Pisces in this,
And he's a Pisces.
yeah. And do you know what you are in Vedic astrology?
I don't.
Well, it doesn't matter. But anyway,
It
that's
would it would
happening
be
in
nice to know.
Pisces. So it means that old love uh in whatever house that is for you,
Mm-hmm.
old love is appearing
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
your past, we could say past, not old past,
Mm-hmm.
and or past issues with romance or
Interesting. Very interesting.
love, yeah, relationships. So it can be old relationships, partnerships, doesn't have to be, marriage can be
Mm-hmm.
other kinds of partnerships, close friends.
Yeah.
I mean, all
Yeah.
of that is arising for you.
Yeah.
And
Well, yeah.
the house of endings in the overall natal chart, the what do we call it? The original chart, Pisces is the 12th house of loss.
Oh.
So
Oh.
there's always that element in it, regardless of what house it is in your actual chart, it still holds that original chart meaning. And so, as you know, astrology is layers and layers of interpretation built on each other.
Mm.
And so the natural chart has Pisces as the house of endings. And then Aries is the house of new beginnings.
Ah, the new growth of the plants and
Absolutely. And the
mm,
pioneers, the
mm,
pioneers are born in Aries.
mm.
And
So yeah, I didn't know he was coming to town. I got a call. Well, he's actually near Palm Springs. He'll be showing up in a couple weeks.
he's
Uh,
driving.
yes, his parents owned a place near Joshua Tree. So and they've passed, and so his daughter is living there now. From They live in New Zealand, and my ex has a lovely girlfriend for years, so they're all visiting. And his daughter has just had a new baby 2 weeks ago.
Wow. So he's in a series of beginnings and endings as well.
Yeah,
How interesting. So are they actually going to come and stay with you or
just the ex and his lady friend, of which I've met before, and they usually stop in. But I'm needing to just kind of clear the air because I never have brought up this before. There was some, difficult.
what's his first name?
His first name is Craig.
He may not welcome this conversation.
He may not, but I did ask him.
Oh, and what did he say?
I said I was hoping we could just discuss some of the past and some as I'm working with a therapist. There's some trauma that has come up actually quite a while back that I would really like to just discuss with you. And he says, yes, indeed. Absolutely. So, so, well, I promised myself I would next time I saw him. And when he called, I was like, I went, okay, oh my gosh. And he left a message. And I went, all right.
So we're going to ask you one question,
Yeah.
and that is, what is your expectation of this conversation?
I I am not looking to get I'm sorry or any of that. I just want him to know how painful that was for me. Not in a hard way, but just how emotional, because he was physically abusive to me. And maybe it's not appropriate. I don't know, but
Oh, it's about you. It's
yeah,
about him.
it's
So,
about me. And
so
there's
yeah,
nothing I want to do to like get him angry or none
yeah.
of that. Or
Don't
I
get
thought,
surprised if you get denial.
yeah, I also was going to say if this, if we need to stop this conversation and you're getting, that's fine too. But there's some painful areas in that I never had an opportunity to really process. And it was a difficult passage for me.
We suggest that you process all of that in
But
yourself
first, yes.
before you process it with him.
Yeah, good point.
And the way you will know that you've completed that is you really won't care what he says.
Yeah,
You know,
And
nothing that he says will cause you to react in any way.
right,
It's really just you acknowledging that this happened and it caused you pain.
right,
But
right.
the odds are about 85% that he will have no memory of any of it. And
Seriously.
he'll want to cause you to doubt yourself that that ever happened.
Ah, well, that would be interesting. I'm not going to fight with him, that's for sure.
Oh no, no, this is the essence of gaslighting, which is what people do about the past when they have not evolved and
Uh-huh.
confront themselves with their own history.
Uh-huh. Well,
And the discovery that one makes as they go through this journey, we're short-circuiting some of your journey for you,
mm-hmm,
is that it's not important
mm-hmm.
how they respond. It's important how you
Yeah.
evolve out of those experiences so you no longer attract that kind of repeated experience, which women mostly attract over and over. I mean, men do it too, but they do it in a slightly different way
Uh-huh.
and have
Okay.
self-esteem issues. But women attract abuse because that's what they know, that's what they learned from their fathers,
Yeah.
brothers, and the other men in their lives. They repeat this history over and over until they evolve out of it. And so one of the ways to evolve out of it is the kind of inner work that you're doing in therapy now, which is really important.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea that there's anything to be gained from,
Hashing through any stuff,
yes,
which is,
from feedback from the people who actually did it to us, unless they have also been doing enormous evolutionary work,
yeah.
there's nothing to be expected from
Yeah.
that.
And yeah, I guess it just hasn't been, I haven't talked to him about that. And this was, like I said, back in my 20s.
Right. I mean, it's one thing when you're in a family system with somebody and it's dynamic and you're changing and everybody else is interested in changing
I
too.
see along the way.
Then
Yeah, I
investing in
see.
a dynamic conversation that is of benefit to everyone,
Right,
that is a system evolving. But when
right,
it's people that you're no longer in contact with, that you have superficial relationships by now, digging into this arena uh, it can create a lot of disharmony in a relationship that everybody else is assuming is superficial.
right. Yeah, that's very interesting. Yes.
So just be aware that you may be coming from it in completely different planes.
Yeah, and I'm sure I am.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so you get a yes, indeed. We'll have that discussion. And it's somebody going, I think we won't have that discussion.
Yeah,
So
right.
we're just giving you a
Well,
little
I
bit.
just, oh, as you're saying that, I shouldn't be looking for anything from him.
Mm-mm.
I mean, this is about this. Well,
Should
that
is a very
dynamic.
difficult word. Should is what we do to ourselves. It's kind of a
Yes.
self-punishment. Like if
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
know, that doesn't help.
Yeah.
It causes us to hide from ourselves when we put
Right.
goods on things.
Yeah.
So it's not that. It's that your evolution is for you.
Yes.
And it doesn't require anybody else's feedback.
Yes.
And,
Yes. Yes.
and when you bring somebody from the past into your present reality, and they haven't been part of that present reality,
Hmm.
be really jarring and it can be very destructive of a relationship that had a potential for growth, but because it wasn't met at the level where it is and brought up gradually,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
people can
I
get
get you.
destroyed. But if you meet somebody where they are and you allow them to be who they are and to demonstrate who they are, then there is still some flow that's possible. And
Hmm.
over time, if you have any desire to cultivate that relationship and they have some desire to cultivate their evolution, then there is a process that can happen that can allow them to evolve. But if you don't meet people at the same place where they are,
Hmm.
there's this incongruence and there's reactivity.
Yeah,
You hit walls and
right,
things can be destroyed.
right.
And that doesn't mean that we pretend,
Uh-huh.
but it means that we're conscious about how we're engaging, why we're engaging, and what we expect, and who we are having the conversation for. And that all of those questions have to be answered inside oneself in a
Hmm.
way that's really, really clear so that we're not creating turmoil that is going to bite us
Yes,
by destroying something that actually didn't need to be destroyed,
right.
that could have evolved. So we have an important role in evolving to bring every life that's connected to ours, that our life touches, to bring it into evolution as much as we possibly can.
Mm.
But that requires a level of love and respect for other people that respects wherever they are
Hmm.
and sees that with emotional clarity so that we are not prematurely destroying something that really could grow from contact with us.
Hmm.
And
Right.
you have that level of evolution in yourself to share with other people that can actually bring them up.
Hmm.
But confronting them about past failures, which is essentially what this is, it's a failure
I see.
of self-control in, in relationship where they became extremely abusive.
Hmm.
And you're recovering from that harm.
Hmm.
But
It's been left behind for him a long time ago. If he's,
he doesn't even know it happened.
huh.
He's completely oblivious. What? I would never do such a thing. How dare you? And there's the relationship finished.
I gotcha. Yeah. Well, that's helpful. That's very
Well,
helpful.
yeah, you are not giving yourself credit for your own evolution.
Okay.
You've gone so far beyond this relationship and
Yes.
then that you're not that person. And he's not that person for whatever his life has brought him. We don't know how he behaves in relationship now. He
Right.
probably still has the same potential and has probably still hasn't addressed it.
Uh-huh. Right. Right.
But the way to help him evolve,
Hmm.
not
Hmm.
confrontation about the past.
Yeah. Is not to have the confrontation about the past. Is that what you just said? Yeah.
Yes, yes. But instead, to love and respect who he is in this moment and support any effort that he's making to entertain love and respect in his life.
Hmm.
And when he has the confidence to address his own issues, then he will, find his own rage in how he has harmed people in the past.
Hmm. Hmm.
But that only has something to do with you when he's reached a level where you can have that conversation and he brings it to you.
Yes.
Nothing can be gained by
Yes.
bringing it to him prematurely.
Right. Right. That's very, very insightful. I appreciate that.
Well, it's a conversation we've been having over a couple of weeks now in different settings
Hmm.
that as we heal ourselves from past insults, we have to understand that it is our perception of the external world that attracts the experiences that we have. And so, in very deep ways, we are responsible for what we attract.
Hmm.
And as we heal from that, we attract different things. And we can see in our lives when we attract the same thing over and over again, that means that we haven't
Yeah, we're in the cycle. We're like caught
we
up.
haven't evolved. We're
Right.
circling in the same energy field
Hmm.
over and over
Hmm.
until we evolve. And the evolution happens in a spiral. So we may be abused in one layer and we get through that. And then we discover another way in the spiritual, mental, and emotional fields that in the physical, spiritual, and the
Hmm.
four spiritual, physical, mental, emotional, that in those planes, which of course are not separate, but we have been evolving through the different layers of our own evolution of attracting pain,
Hmm.
really, is what we're
Hmm.
doing so that we can evolve out of the whole
Yes.
abuser. And
Right.
believe me, abusers have all been abused, have all
Yes.
abused people have all been abusers in other lifetimes, which is why we are working through these
Right.
experiences. So
Right.
it's not like any of it is, anybody's more guilty than anybody else.
Right.
Not about that. It's
Right.
this big picture of really evolving to the place where we are helpful to everyone, no matter where they are
Right.
their own evolution, because we understand that all of that is within us. All of that potential is contained within every single one of us, no matter what level we are expressing in this moment. And so the more we can rise above the reactivity that is the baser part of our nature, the more elegantly and eloquently we can respond to the needs of those around us, regardless of what their particular evolution in the particular arena that we're relating to them
Hmm.
has become. And all of us are different in all parts of us. And so the thing that we are constantly saying, that all parts are welcome, this
Yeah.
is true across the board, not just within us, but around us as well. Because
Mhm.
we understand that the experiences we are attract are in our highest best interest to rise above, to understand who we are and what we're doing so that we are meeting and greeting and growing within every experience we attract. So,
Hmm. Yeah, beautifully said. Thank you.
oh, you're so welcome. And thank you so much for bringing this so clearly and honestly. We all have it. Every conversation we have with each of you is fodder, it's teaching for everybody because we all have these issues.
Yeah.
So we're so grateful when you come and speak to us because we can speak for to and for everyone. So we're completely in
Thank you.
awe
I
and
I I'm so
gratitude.
grateful. Yes.
Mhm.
And I just must say I think one of the most painful things that I have a memory of around that time was some animal abuse that happened when we were moved into a farm and we were beginners, and there'd be anger and stuff had happened, and it's just hurts. I still carry that hurt.
Of course, yes.
And
And
so it's just, I guess, what to do around that. I guess just forgive that.
it's complicated, but the understanding is that the abuse that animals suffer, they have agreed to beforehand also, that this is everything is in a harmony of balance, and that experience and your emotional experience also is a growing experience for you, that how amazing your empathic powers have been with you your whole life, and a celebration of that part of you, and understanding that the other person who doesn't have that sensitivity, who, has a dullness in that area rather than a sensitivity, that they didn't know any better. And
Yes.
that part of their growing is to cultivate that empathic self. And you yourself know that that can only arise in a state of love. That that compassion comes from experiencing love oneself. And so this is where true compassion comes from, that we understand the other person was just not sensitive enough
Yeah.
because of their experiences of abuse in the past, that they were not able to experience the depth of pain they were causing in the entire environment
Yeah.
by lack of love and respect for every
Yeah.
being throughout
Yeah.
time and space.
Yeah. And that went on, and he had a difficult childhood, of course. And yeah, so well, that's really beautiful, and thank you. I'm
Mm,
grateful
we are so
for
grateful
that.
for
So
you.
I may have to just um figure, I don't know if I told him I wanted to talk to him about some of that. So maybe I will, in just a light way.
Yes,
Yeah,
you'll know by the time it
I
happens.
will. And this is
You'll
how,
know exactly what to do. You are a very gracious person. This part is not hard for you.
and I was even, what I was considering is just holding his hand while I was telling him, you know. Uh, but I mean, that's before I was is hearing what you're having to say.
Yes, you may have to do a remedial conversation of, coming to his level. What conversation can he hear? What can be helpful to him to increase his sensitivity? This,
Ooh.
this is the question to ask yourself.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes. And take that to the Inasa temple and see what comes
I
back.
was going to do that.
Yes. So there we go. There we go.
Okay, well
Full
that
circle.
that put me on a new trajectory there. Thank you so much. How
Thank
very helpful.
you. Back
Jeez.
at you. We could not have had this conversation without you.
Thank you. Oh, that was just perfect. Thank you guys.
Oh, we're so, so, so grateful for this. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, thank you for sharing that, Nancy. That was so powerful, and your suggestions and responses Rebecca and Nasa were just so perfect for this time. Everything, this whole session has just filled me. It's been wonderful. I just thank you so much,
Oh, you're so welcome.
both of you.
We're so delighted to be here, and it feels so timely for all of us that that this information is available. And we encourage you to invite your friends, and it's time for this to grow.
Mm.
We haven't said that before because it hasn't felt exactly right. But at this time, we don't really know how to grow it. It's not, hmm. And maybe it's not quite the time. It's so we understand time, but we don't live in time. And so our understanding is that what is attracted will be attracted in the right time.
Yeah, it's to me, it seems like people are pretty fragmented from each other, and in kind of in their own worlds. I know even my good friends have kind of enveloped themselves in their own worlds, and so it's hard to, as have I, maybe from the pandemic, or maybe that was just a symptom. I don't know.
Well, the pandemic separated us and put us online. Um, but the external stimulation is so great that, and this is the whole point, and this is why it's being successful, is that the shock and awe is so big that people are tuning out, and people cannot tune out in, or they will lose everything. It's tuning in and supporting those who are fighting, the independent press, and whoever's standing up, Bernie and AOC, and and supporting that is really all we can do in this moment. And the other thing is holding our own inside ourselves, no matter who we're talking to, and evolving our space so that whatever happens around us, people benefit. And in that way, the ripple effect will um, will happen. The other thing we want to say just briefly is that the astrology is approaching its worst, as it will flip and get better at the end of the month. Between now and then, Rahu and Saturn are grinding into conjunction, and they move so slowly that it's like we're being mashed under the wheels of a great, vehicle that's kind of going over the entire earth and crushing everything in its path. And then it will begin rebuilding. But what happens is that the conjunction is happening in the very early degrees of Pisces, in the first and second degree. And so Rahu is moving in the opposite direction of Saturn, as it always, Rahu only goes backwards. Um, and Saturn is at the moment only going forward. And so they meet, and then Rahu keeps going, and Saturn keeps going, and they separate. And so, but they both move extremely slowly. It takes Saturn 2.5 years to make it 30 degrees through a house of the zodiac. And it takes Rahu a year and a half, 18 months to go 30 degrees. So they just move slowly. It's 1 degree every 3 days if we're lucky. So that's happening, and it's intense, and it makes everybody feel agitated, like they have to do something, but they don't know what it is they need to do. And if they don't do it, something terrible is going to happen, but nobody knows what to do. And so, and we all, the entire world feels like that. So there is this agitated paralysis, that's what we'll call it, that has gripped the entire world. So we're just telling you because it's not personal. It's not personal. Everybody feels it. And everybody is in a state of agitated paralysis. And the agitation has demonic overtones to it. That's Rahu. Rahu is a demon. Rahu is insatiable desire. So it's greed is a huge element in this agitated paralysis. So the world is just acting out what the stars are bringing. It's not the other way around. We think we're all powerful creatures, but this is really what's happening. The stars are calling the shots. But it will be over soon. It's been, yes, please.
Oh, I just before I forget, want ask for one, just a small piece of advice. I have a dear friend. In fact, he was on. He joined us one time when I was down helping him, and we had a conflict. And he hasn't spoken to me. I've reached out to him, left a message on the phone, by email, by text, and he hasn't spoken to me. He is in his Western astrology chart. He is 2 degrees into Pisces. And I just want to know at this point. I've gone to the Anasa temple with him. I've straightened things out within myself. Should I just let it be? And if he comes back and reaches out to me, then that'd be great. And otherwise, he's gone.
Remind us his first name.
Robert, Bobby.
We're seeing a wall uh, that he wishes not to be bridged. And we respect that wall.
Okay.
So we don't have any information to share with you at this moment.
Okay. But I mean, I feel like I've reached out so that he knows I'm reaching out. Because I got triggered by something he did and really felt like he should know better. And so I said that, not in an angry voice, but in a firm voice. And that that just that's what started it. So it's not it wasn't a huge deal to me. And I'm looking back, I could have made light of it. I could have dealt with it differently, but it's that should thing again that you were talking about, and I didn't. So I wasn't horrible though, um, in any way. I was just truthful and blunt. So anyway, but do you recommend that I just leave it be then at this point? Because there's a wall there that he he wants to have there.
For the moment, uh, keep going to the Inasa temple and keep doing your inner work with it, because what we feel is that it's not complete for you, that that there is some inner reflection that is happening for you that will continue as you go to the Inasa temple, and uh, you'll know when you're complete in yourself. This is what we're experiencing with you.
Mm.
Does that resonate?
It does. It does. Yeah, because I've already felt that process, and it's not finished. But yeah, I've gone from agitation, and into more of an acceptance, and it just feels better. But I'm not done. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's what we're feeling is as you were describing, is that your own attitude toward what happened has shifted as you're working through it, and that we encourage that to shift through all the levels that you experience. And when you come to peace within yourself about it, then, and this is a different level of peace from acceptance. Acceptance is like, okay, I can't do anything about this. That's what acceptance is. But peace is, I understand what this was, and I know, let's see if we can do better with words. Peace is when you come to compassion with yourself about the whole thing. This is what we don't feel in you, is this self-acceptance throughout the planes of your being about what has happened. Does that make sense to you?
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah.
So this is what we're looking for, because in the biggest picture, there is no other. Everything that happens is inside of us. We attract it. And so when we heal that within us, which has attracted this experience, then we discover the compassion for us, and we are healed by it.
Yes.
So thank you, thank you, thank you for bringing that to us.
Mm. Thank you.
Mm. So we're coming to our time. We missed our closing meditation, but this has felt like a meditation all the way through, like we are in the field, in the zone. And the recording will be up if you want to practice this meditation with the high heart. It'll be up in uh, time. You,
This afternoon.
oh, it doesn't have to be if you have, we know you have other priorities. So whenever it gets up is fine. That's what we were trying to say. Because we live in time, we understand time, but we don't live in it. So we are so happy to be with you. We are filled with joy for every moment of this time together. Thank you so much for coming. So much love. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.